Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a fantastic start to your weekends. Today, guys, we're going to be going over some very interesting things. We're going to be looking, of course, at Cardano. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at the dollar, and we're going to be looking at perhaps one of the biggest drivers for the adoption of Cardano that there is, and that is Ethereum and their short fallings. I'm getting sick to death of using Ethereum, and ultimately I'm going to go to where I'm best served, and I don't believe that's Ethereum. You know, I still hold Ethereum. It's in my top 3 holdings right along with Cardano. I've been in Ethereum for longer than I've been in Cardano, but it's really sad to see the direction that the project's gone in, and the kind of innovation with the project. It's underperformed on a number of fronts, and in terms of an investment proposition, in actual fact, I think there's a number of cryptocurrencies like Cardano, like Solana, like probably XRP and others that are going to significantly outperform Ethereum. So as an investor, it perhaps might not even hold me. So over the next week or so, I'm really going to be going over and reviewing my position in Ethereum. I still want to hold Ethereum, but news like this, a bug that has really affected a lot of things, not just the Ethereum network, it's affected projects being built on top of it. You can see here that this is something from Coinbase. I haven't used Coinbase in like 4 years, I think. But for new users, they're a very friendly exchange. I just choose to custody my own crypto. Due to the 51% attack that has occurred on BSV today, we are stopping all BSV trading. So this is affecting a number of different platforms. I think Polygon was affected as well. So not only does it suck to use Ethereum because of the extremely high gas fees that completely make the barrier to entry impossible for people out there that haven't got a lot of money, people that are actually building on top of it are getting penalized as a result. And this is one of the biggest factors that's going to drive Cardano's adoption, because you guys know, even though I'm perhaps not going to sell my Ethereum, one thing I am going to do is take all my Aave, take all my Compound, take my Uniswap, and I'm going to convert it into a Cardano version of DeFi, because it's going to be, in my opinion, a way better user experience, really down to the fees and perhaps the transaction times. So that's sad for Ethereum, good for Cardano and the other smart contracts, the up and coming 3rd generation smart contracts that we have. So let's start, guys, with the price. We made a very dangerous call yesterday. We were approaching new all-time highs, and I said, look, despite the majority of calls for people saying we're going above and beyond and we're exploding from here, I came out, I made a video, and I also tweeted saying approaching all-time highs. I'm not convinced we see them today. I think we get a rejection around the previous all-time highs and coil up before we go into price discovery. Dangerous call to make, as we are cents away from all-time highs. We will see it soon. This is when I made the call, so things were looking great, but I've been in these markets for so long that you have a kind of intuition, you have a kind of feel for these markets, and I knew what I was looking at. You know, ultimately we're not going to get every call right. We are going to get some calls wrong, but we've been very accurate so far. And when we get those calls wrong, just remember, you know, I'll let the people among you that have never got anything wrong throw the first stone. You know, we're not going to get everything right with humans, and that's how it works. But we've been very spot on, and hopefully are building up a lot of credibility with these calls. So what do I think's next? Well, I think now you've rejected from here, there's a likelihood that you go sideways. Why do I think this? Because this is going to allow your EMA to creep up, and in actual fact push you. You could have a rejection before coming back, and continuation ensues, and then you'll do a kind of clear break. Now there's so many examples of this. You can see here, for example, you come up, attack it, you reject, come back to your EMA before you then continue. This is how your EMA acts in an uptrending. You can see here's another example. You reject before you then get continuation, and this EMA, you can see here, drives you up and above your previous or local highs in this particular case. So that's kind of what we're expecting. That's not just how it works for at the moment, but it's certainly previously how it's worked. This is what you get, guys. You get a kind of rejection, your EMA creeps up, and it acts, and you see continuation set up. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm expecting us to kind of coil up, much like I said on that tweet, before we then see continuation. You're in a bull run, guys, and this is kind of how things go. I'm going to tell you another reason why I actually believe that that's more likely. And then we're going to move on to Bitcoin, the dollar, and of course we'll finish with the Ethereum news. So if you look, and one thing that I've spoke to you guys about, and we'll do it on here first before I show you in more detail. Go to the daily time frame, look at your EMA, you're still very overextended from it. Now you guys know we have an Elliott wave theory mapped out for here, and essentially in regards to where you are in your fifth and potentially final wave, which is where I think the current wave that you're embarking on, that we're going to see take us up to $7.50 to $10. I think if we look at previous waves, you're essentially just here, guys. Can you see? You break your local high. So you're here. You've made your first impulse, come up, test your high, before you then get a bit of a sell-off, which allows you to catch up to your EMA, and then you can see continuation insert. And that's essentially where I think you are today. So if we switch it to the daily time frame, you can see you're overextended from it. If we do it on here, you'll really see what I'm talking about, guys, and why I think you could be in for a bit of sideways action. So can you see your EMA here? If we go to our first wave down here, can you see you do a similar thing? When you get that break, your previous all-time highs or the end of your one wave, you come up, you come to it, and then you get a rejection down to this EMA, which acts as support, and you get continuation. It does that the whole way up the wave. So this EMA on the daily is a really good kind of entry point, if you ask me. Not financial advice, just my opinion. You can see this was your first wave as well. You come up, certainly here when you have the real break, you get overextended before you then come down to it and use it as a kind of springboard. And you do that the whole way along. And that's essentially what we're expecting to see today. You're very, very overextended. Let's put that back in place. You're very overextended from this EMA, but you're not, you could just see a little bit of sideways. It doesn't mean you have to sell off down to it. You could just see some sideways action before you then get continuation. And that would tie in perfectly with where you are on the 4 hourly and in actual fact, the weekly, because you're getting a bullish cross about to form on the weekly, which will actually, I think, coincide where your 50 where your 50 and your 20 will cross, which I think will coincide with you kind of sideways. Coming up, you get that bullish cross on the weekly. You also get a retest of it on the daily, and then you'll see continuation from there, and that will take you into new all-time highs. So things are looking great. I mean, the call that I made yesterday was a pretty risky call to make, because we like being a pariah. We like to take the opposing view on this channel. We don't like to go with what everyone else is saying. The majority of people yesterday were calling for new all-time highs, and we had this breakout and it's going to infinity. We said, no, it's not quite here yet. The intuition that I've kind of gained from 4 years of being here, it's very weird that, because technical analysis obviously helps and a basic understanding of the market, but you get a kind of intuition about how these things are going to go, and it's always best to kind of go with that. So I think you're in for a bit of sideways action. Let this catch up, let your EMAs catch up before it pushes you up and you see new all-time highs ensue. And I don't think that's far away, guys, at all. Now, if we talk about Bitcoin, and this is one chart that I was really watching yesterday when we made that call. Literally when we made the call, Bitcoin was here, guys, and then we had this big green candle. And this is really down to Bitcoin and the dollar. This is the dollar currency index. And really, Bitcoin was created as a combative, as a mitigator of fiat currencies and the inflation, which is the real tax on everybody except for the rich people that own assets. Most people don't own assets, guys, and Bitcoin was created as a hedge against that. Satoshi, and that was his vision. He created it in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis to kind of mitigate the damage that governments who control the fiat systems kind of put on you. It's one reason we created this channel, to kind of educate people on that, and that inflation is a tax on everybody. Not only do you get taxed from your wage, but inflation is really the real tax, because it doesn't discriminate and it just completely kills off your buying power. And that's really what Bitcoin's all about. So we saw the dollar go down. This was due to Jerome Powell. I was watching the Crypto Sniper, who, if you're not already followed to, a guy called Francis, brilliant guy. I got lots of respect for him on not just the crypto front, but his views as a whole. And in actual fact, he was saying that Jerome Powell was quite sheepish, that they kind of can't keep a lid on this for much longer. People are kind of twigging on to the fact that the game is up, guys. These guys are just printing and printing and printing, and what they do by that is the dollars that are already in supply, that we get paid with every month if you've got a job, go down in value in terms of buying power, because there's more of them. So each one becomes less valuable, and that's what we're seeing. And this is why Bitcoin is such a certainly with companies that we're now going to see jump into it. We saw Morgan Stanley, I believe it was it Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan? One of them owns about 1 million Grayscale shares, which is about $40 million worth of Bitcoin. And we're going to see more institutions do this. We're going to see more companies do this as a way to kind of mitigate against a falling inflation rate or a rising inflation and a falling dollar in terms of buying power. So Bitcoin looks great. Cardano looks great. Like I say, I think that's what you're going to do. I think you're going to coil up before you then attack. You kind of go and you retest. This is going to push you up, and you are going to see new all-time highs. They are around the corner. Now let's talk about Ethereum. I was actually going to make a video today where I went on. I've got 3 coins that I want to share with you that have currently been built on Ethereum or exist in the form of ERC20 tokens, but are then going to go off to their own networks. And it's a way to get in early on these coins and potentially make some really good gains. And the way that I'd have bought these was on Uniswap. Now the gas fees on Uniswap, because it's built on Ethereum, have just been ridiculous. This is low right now, guys. This will go up probably in the space of this video. But one reason I've stopped doing that was because I said, look, quite a lot of people that watch this channel and that are in the crypto space as a whole don't have $50 to just spend on gas fees. And that's to get into to make one swap on Uniswap. Forget actually sending it from an exchange, which is going to cost you money. Then you actually have to facilitate the swap, which you can see right now would cost you $32, and that's the cheap end of it, by the way, guys. This has gone a lot higher. It's just going absolutely crazy, and this is really due to the bug. Bug in Ethereum client leads to split. Ethereum virtual machine, EVM, compatible chains at risk. And this was like I said, I don't use Coinbase, but for new users, I think they're actually quite good. Due to a 51% attack, they've actually stopped all BSV trading today, and this is really poor show from Ethereum. We know that bugs are going to happen, and let me just say, I'm not here saying I could do a better job. I absolutely couldn't. It's not my field of expertise. But what I am here to say is that when you have an up-and-coming rising star like Cardano, like Solana, like ALGORAND, like POLKADOT, which we're going to talk about POLKADOT on this channel in quite a lot more detail, because very interesting what they're doing. It's a super complex blockchain, but when you get your head around it, it makes a lot of sense. When you have these competitors, why would you choose to use Ethereum? Now, I hold Ethereum, but it's not really paying me to do so. In terms of an investment, a lot of these up-and-coming projects are going to outperform it this year. I can guarantee you that. It's still going to do well, but it's becoming a bit of a relic, much the same as Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin maximalism is stupid, by the way, guys. It's one of the most dumb, toxic things to the space that you could possibly have. So is Ethereum maximalism. Because you're clearly not looking at the facts. You're clearly not looking at like that statement that I just made about Bitcoin and Ethereum maximalism being stupid. I know that's going to annoy quite a few people, but I'm saying it because I believe it, and I've already told you on this channel we're not going to sugarcoat things for you. Yes, I love Bitcoin. I hold Bitcoin. I'm probably never going to sell my Bitcoin, and I like Ethereum. But there's no point in being a maximalism and having maximalism in an ever-evolving space. It's like being a Yahoo fan. And just sticking with Yahoo, even though there's other competitors out there that are significantly better. You know, it doesn't. It's just because it was the first doesn't mean it's the best. And we're now seeing Bitcoin's a first generation crypto. Ethereum came because I looked at Bitcoin and said let's add an extra layer, and now you've got layer 3s. So Ethereum being a layer, not a layer 3s, third generation cryptos. So Ethereum being a second generation, things like Cardano, things like Polkadot, things like Solana, things like ALGORAND are third generation. So they're newer technology essentially, and I'm going to go with those. And ultimately, you know, I'm not going to sell my Ethereum, but I'm going to be cashing out of all my DeFi. Forget it. I'm going to be cashing out of all my DeFi because I don't want to have to pay the ridiculous fees. And I think you're going to get a better user experience on that in terms of transactions and fees on the Cardano ecosystem and using their DeFi. If I can get similar yield, I'll take full advantage of that. And I actually think the yields might be higher as it's newer. So that's where I'm at with Ethereum, and this is going to be one of the biggest drivers, because if I'm thinking that, what about these DeFi projects that are built on top of Ethereum? They're going to go, hang on, we'll just go and build on another chain. And if Cardano have made that super easy for them to do with a bridge, essentially, a converter from ERC20 over to the ADA tokens. So this is huge news. This is sad, really. They have kind of hot fixed it. This was from Go Ethereum. A split has occurred on the Ethereum mainnet. The issue was resolved in the V1.1018 release announcement. No one has a clue what that means previously. Please update your nodes if you haven't already. And this is just a poor show, really. I still believe that Ethereum could have some tricks up their sleeves, but right now, guys, I mean, it's like EIP 1559. All it really did was make Ethereum start to burn Ethereum. It did a number of other things, but one of the main things was it started to burn Ethereum and actually made it deflationary. Didn't really do much for the gas fees or the transaction times. So that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Get subscribed to the Twitter if you're not, or follow me on Twitter. I take it that's how it works. If you're not already, at Real All in Crypto for some more timely updates. We gave you one earlier where we kind of said, look, yesterday's call came true. Here's what we're expecting moving into the future. And that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. Things are looking good in the crypto space. We are coming in September where lots of people are anticipating dips. We will see. I don't think it's going to be like anything too horrific. I think it'll be short-lived. In actual fact, I think we're in for a pretty epic end to the year. But in regards to Cardano, I think you're just going to call. You're going to allow your EMAs to creep up before you then see continuation. That's all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your Saturdays. Have a fantastic time. Spend it enjoying yourselves, not just staring at the charts. And hopefully I'll see you all in the next YouTube video. If you found this one useful and entertaining, hit the like button and leave me a comment. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thanks a lot for watching.